Okay, so we're going to make this part thinking about working with a sketch and working with dimensions in that sketch. I'm going to extrude, basically sketch extrude instead of using primitive parts, instead of placing blocks on it. We'll make a multi-view in the separate second video and then add dimensions in a third video. So first things first, we have this block here, which looks like every box is half an inch. So it looks like it's an inch thick. If I see that up here, and I have, this is an L that's about 1, 2, 3 inches wide and an inch and a half tall. That's 3 boxes. So a bunch of different ways you could do this. I could sketch the L and just extrude that back, and I could put the circle in there as well, or I could place it afterwards. I could sketch one larger rectangle and then cut out this chunk here. I could draw the bottom block and then add the top block. So you have lots of different options when you're sketching stuff like this. You just try to choose what seems the most efficient at the time and what comes to you you think is the easiest. So I like making the L. I'm going to draw the L and then I'll draw the circle as a separate thing. So let's go and start always start with a new component. Okay, I can name it later if I want. I'm going to go to a sketch, new sketch on the front face. There we go. I'm going to grab the line tool. I always like to start at the origin to anchor it. It defaults to millimeters, but I'm just going to type in 1.5 with the quote marks. That means inches. Now if I press enter, it'll stop using the line tool. And keep going here. I believe this was 1 inch wide, so 1 inch. If I click instead of pressing enter, it'll start the next line for me. So it keeps me in the line tool. Two different ways to go about it. Now I'm pretty sure this went down part way. Let's toggle over to this. Yeah, it went down about, we'll call that 3/4 of an inch. That's as much detail as we have. So 0.75 inches. I'll place that. I'll come over 2 more inches, place that, come down here and down there. And if you notice along the way, once I finish the path, it shades the area to tell me you have a complete path now. So when you try to extrude and do other things, it'll recognize this as a complete shape. But the dimensions that I typed in, it added. And if you notice, the part now isn't blue lines, it's black lines to tell me that it's fully constrained, which means it has all the information for size and location of all of these sides. Okay, so let's finish the sketch. I gotta move my face out of the way. Finish sketch. So we get back to this. If I go back to home, there we go. I'm gonna extrude this back. I believe it was an inch, 1 inch. Ta-da! Great. So now I need the hole to go through. So I'm going to start a new sketch on this front face. Let's check to see where that hole was. Looks like it's about an inch from the end, and I'm going to guess it's a ballpark about half an inch in diameter and just shy, kind of touching the bottom of it. But it is not exactly at the bottom because I can see the hidden line here that tells me it's not all the way at the bottom. So it's a little less than part way. So without any further dimensions, I'm going to kind of ballpark that. All right, so I'm in the sketch. I have a circle. I'm going to go 1 inch from the edge here. Well, you know what? I'm just going to draw the circle first. I know it's going to be 0.5 inch diameter. So I'm going to place that and grab my sketch dimension tool here, which basically says, hey, how far away do I want this to be? I'm going to click the center of the circle and that line right there and click a third to place it. And it's going to ask me, how far away do you want it? I'm going to make it 1 inch side, which that was pretty darn close to. And then from the bottom, I'm going to add another dimension. Click the center of the circle and the bottom line. I'm going to click and place that and make that, let's see, this whole thing is 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to make that 0.3 inches and see what that looks like. Oh, that was a mistake because I said 0.3 and it defaulted to millimeters. That's okay. I can just double click the dimension and change it. 0.3 inches. I like that much better. Okay, cool. Finish the sketch. Go back to my home view so I can see it this way. And I'm going to extrude the circle, but I'm going to take it into the part so I can cut. Now I can do that to any certain distance. I don't have to go all the way through. I could pull it so it goes all the way through.